Here I am. Welcome to the channel. This is the Womb Goddess. My name's Susanna Sun. I'm here today in front of Lake Washington with these geese and ducks and this very sparkly water. So I wanted to share that with you while I channeled through some messages of guidance for the divine collective beings. We'll check out the sun there, just peeking through. Such a gorgeous day to be connecting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, checking out my other channels, my links, etc. Today we have a very special topic because we have Lilith conjunct the sun coming up, and this is an enlightening moment. It is a shadow that is needing to be faced so that we can clear and become more ourselves. We do have to embrace those uncovered parts of ourselves. The parts of ourselves maybe where there's the most shame coming to the surface and having the light shone upon it. There can be a sort of reactive nature if you're fresh to it. There's definitely a sort of admittance in the divine feminine collective with Lilith of the shadow parts of ourselves. And we do cultivate those energies. We have the ability to utilize our rage. Really is the strongest emotion that empowers women into creating change for the future generations. So there is this really strong connection happening with that part of ourselves, and it is in collective as well that we are becoming more open and clear about who we are, so that there's no hiding and there's no need to let other people's stories infringe upon our own. One of the main stories that's been coming up, interestingly, let me know if you relate to it, has been about the change in dynamics with birth rates, and knowing that it is predicted, if not already, that more than half of women are not having children by the age of 30. So that's a huge shift for a lot of us, looking into these different patterns that we have in terms of how do we use that energy. The creative life force is pulsing through us. So what are we going to create with that? And we have new ideas. This is a different age. We are on this transition point. This is the 55th gene key from Richard Rudd. This is the butterfly effect. This is a timeline jump. This is the patriarchal Christ, Jesus, church era of religion moving into, that's the Piscean age, moving into this global collective of peoples working together for the highest good and trusting ourselves in the process. It's unconditional love where we require reciprocation for our energy outputs. There's no more glorification of the martyr. This isn't Christ on the cross. This is more compared to Rudolf Steiner and the idea that consciousness is what is the real Christ. And if we follow that story, there is a likelihood that there'd be such a thing as an antichrist that comes out. And maybe this happens regularly as well, but we'll see what happens with that globally. And you know, I do have my own opinions about what I think is going to happen in terms of that. And that's 444 on my clock there too. The duck knows what I'm talking about. Drop me a duck in the comments if you caught that one. So here we are embracing this Lilith part of ourselves that says no more. We will not accept the type of behavior that we were exampled. There are certain things that we want that we haven't seen before. And that is the concept of genius, that life source energy, that reaching to beyond and bringing it into the physical and creating it. That's what we're talking about. So using our voices is one of the most powerful ways to do that, of course. And that's why I always ask about intentions, right? What's this intention for this equinox for you? Because that's the energy that's coming up that's really going to catapult us forward. If you want to embrace this energy, if you want to hop on that starship, we do have certain times and energies that are really supportive to that, and we know that. And equinox that's it. This is one of these big ones coming up. So of course I'd love to see you in our circle for equinox. I do have a donation-based circle that I'd love to invite you and see you in there on Sunday, if you're catching it at that time. If you're catching this in a replay down the road, this energy is ongoing for some time, so don't feel like you missed out. You're just catching it at the right time. So yes, the intention setting is really a big part of it. And we've been setting these intentions for a long time already. And we're really remembering more and more about what that is, what it is that we're really feeling in our hearts being called to be creating in this planet at this time. What do we see needed? And for me, of course, a lot of it is community. I see the healing spaces. I see the wellness practice industry. I worked in it for some time, and I can say that we need community more than ever. The isolation is not, it's a phase, but it's not the whole process. There are some of us who do need a lot of alone time, and that is when you enjoy that time. But when it has this edge of self-punishment, and that's part of Lilith too, noticing what parts of ourselves where we're not being so nice to ourselves and calling that out, calling it out in our sisters, taking that gracefully, of course, as well. It's all part of this story of ourselves rebirthing right now. And there is a lot of that roller coaster because of the transition, right? It's kind of a, whew, we got some waves coming in, right? We feel that. Especially the sensitives, the highly sensitive people, we're really feeling that intensity of the change, the transformation. And what I can say most about that is allow it to move through you. The feminine is a vessel. We hold space. We allow energies to move through us. And especially if you're like me, a human design projector or a reflector, where you are just open and it's just receptive energy. You just allow it to move through you. And so that's the priestess, right? That's what we're initiating ourselves through while this transition of Pluto into Aquarius happens. And right now we have this really powerful, we'll sit with the Lilith and the Sun, but there's other things happening coming up as well with Venus trine Uranus. So we do have some stuff happening there, and Mercury is pretty active too. So lots of communication happening. And that's where I'd love to hear from you. You know, I do have a few things coming up. So that circle on Sunday is something I'd love to see you at. I'll have the replay for that too, by the way. So you can get that individually, or you can get it in my library, which I put together, but I haven't told people about yet. So I do have a library where I've collected a lot of different play shops and meditations. I have a womb activation in there. There's a lot of really deep stuff. There's a shadow work one as well that has some dragons in it, a very intense clearing. So if you are catching that clearing wave from the eclipse, that might be helpful for you if you really want to go in. And yes, we're definitely feeling it, right? That's the moral of the story. So what do we do with that, right? Where do we direct all of this energy? That's the big question. Do we just focus on money? Are we like, okay, we need the babies, like what is it that we're, oh my love, right? This obsession with what's our heart's desire right now. There's really this excitement that I've been noticing, and that's part of the eclipse as well, with the squaring of the nodes. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just pretty wild with with Mars kind of leading the way into this. It feels like a battleground, but at the same time, Venus is really happy in Libra. So we do have this transition coming up, and that does feel significant as well, that there is sort of breakthrough and a revelatory kind of opening the door. So yes, let's see what Mr. Duck has to say about that. What do we think? So, what else is here? The equinox, the intentions that we're setting, being really clear about that, using our voices to set those intentions, right? My intentions are about creating community right now. I'm also promoting a vocal activation that I'm participating in, and I'm practicing using it while I'm in that course right now. So I'm just in the 5 free days to start, and you're welcome to join me there if you'd like to. You can send me a message about that. And yeah, then we're gonna do some more after that. That's really exciting, I believe. So you can keep following me for that. I have, I'm giving you more updates than I usually do that are personal as well. So just letting you know. I am also sitting. I do house sits, pet sits. So if you ever needed something like that, if you're mostly on the West Coast. So I am available after November, and I'm looking at a retreat center onward after that. So it's available. There's a few things that we're looking at, and you'll definitely be reflecting this energy in your own version of it. So there is this transition, right? It's kind of implementing this new version of ourselves into our reality, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's new. We're stretching ourselves beyond what we have before. We love that. And that's the shadow part being revealed as well. When we go into the shadow, we really have the opportunity to open ourselves. And it feels like a heartbreak sometimes. There's this crack open type feeling. You have to let it flood in, right? Let the light flood in. And that's really the opening, the expansion that is available in this energy with the equinox. Yep. That's how it goes. So I'd love to guide you deeper through that in my circle on Sunday, of course. The Equinox Sacred Circle. And if you watch the replay, you won't be part of the sharing circle. That won't be recorded. But the practice and the somatic body-based practice, as well as the psychic practice, will be there. Guided journey for Equinox transformation, glow up 2025 really is what we're looking at. But we will start seeing results in early October. It's a little like that, that first time at the gym after a while, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it, like I'm ready to start building. So that's the feeling stepping into October, and it does have a hibernation period through 6 months. And again, we're looking at eclipse seasons as well, because we are talking about the moon, and we're talking about black moon Lilith, which is the darkest part of the sky, so the most shadow, right? And of course that's in the feminine. That's actually the void. That's the origin of existence. That's Sophia, goddess herself. So we're really talking about if you look into the sun, if you do sun gazing enough, and I have, that you do it only when it's right at the horizon, about half an hour before and after sunset. So that's when you, according to Chinese medicine, can use the sun for healing your eyes and the retina and different, you can also heal your eyesight through that. But esoterically and psychically is, of course, how I work. strongly. So I look through the sun and I see a portal, and I see, oh, and see, there's the, yes, there's the raven. So it is the rebirth, right? It's a new reality. It's the parallel dimension that we can go through into and create. And it feels like you just wake up and it's normal. A little bee or something. Yeah, it just feels normal. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but it's totally different. Like I feel like I'm dreaming. And that's part of the story. The dreams are really a part of it as well. And the dreams are becoming more and more predictive for people who are tuning in to this type of energy. We are getting past these clearings. We are constantly clearing, of course. That's part of the way of the shamanism. It is definitely an essential part, is to clear and clean, literally and cyclically. So that's constant. I do that with the Merkaba, right? The starship, the light that holds me, that connects me to where I came from, right? We're talking about Christ consciousness. Yeah, so this is the rose lineage, and Lilith is the black rose, definitely a dark part of ourselves, and I'm very adamant not to demonize the darkness because of this. And there's the other crow. Hi. Oh, you're so pretty. Not to demonize them. They are, demons are entities just like angels, and to me, the ones that are really harmful, they are connected to lack, right? So the only protection that we need from them is our own light. We become repellent to dark energies that are harmful. And the dark energies that are rebirth, that are there to transform us into a higher version of ourselves. This is our ability to experience fear and then to create something beautiful out of it. That's what we're talking about. Working with shame, right? The darkest parts of ourselves, where we feel the most shame, usually around femininity and sexuality. Honestly, that's where it comes down to. The virgin and the yes, so it is definitely part of that story as well. And Lilith is like that because she is originated from the ethers. She's the divine mother. She's the first being that existed, and from her she created everything. And she was punished for her creations, and her creations were constantly unalived, as we have to say. How shall we say that? Yes, so it's quite the contrast, considering the other things that are around, the other energies that are currently happening, right? There is a lot of rebirth, which also comes with the birthing part. But some of us really do go into the cleaning, and that cleaning is essential. The more you clean, the deeper you clean, the further down into the alley that you get, the more community building you do, right? It's just a process of looking at the parts of ourselves and our communities and the way that we are that takes full responsibility for our experiences. So this is Lilith. She's the creatress. She knows her power to create. She doesn't require man, but she's also loved by every man who does meet her, which is why she's also demonized for that reason, of course, because she's a seductress. So this part of ourselves, right? Any woman who's tapping into their power of transmuting fear and shame, they're going to be tapping into these parts of ourselves as well, and just admitting parts of ourselves, like, I do feel that way. I am attracted to that. And just noticing things about ourselves and really integrating that into our reality. And it doesn't mean that we have to do something about it necessarily, but it is really an honest look at ourselves and what we're doing and what we want, and figuring out whether it matches, right? Is there something about our experience that doesn't feel good, and how would we like to change that? So that's Lilith as well. She's endings, right? She's able to cut off anybody who disrespects her, and she has no problem with it. She's happy to, because she knows that it creates a breakthrough. So there is this constant rebirth, and yeah, it's really, it's beautiful. So that's, so that's what's happening right now. Thank you all for tuning in. I do have this circle coming up. I have a vocal activation you can join if you'd like 5 free days. I don't know how long that'll be on, so you have to catch it right now if you happen to want that one, or you can ask me about it. I might have a different offer from her to share for you. Angel Starseed, wow. Whew. Yeah, talk about breakthroughs, using our voices to create breakthroughs. Gosh, amazing. And I have private sessions available right now. I am in Seattle. If anybody wants to see me here, I'll be in Portland, and then just for a weekend, and then I'll be a little bit further south than that for another couple weeks, and then I'll be turning around back up north. I'll see you wherever you are if you want to, and I'll see you here as well, or at least. Sending you so much love, and have a beautiful day, my friends.